Good afternoon, customers of Knowhere Games and Comics. It's me, Matthias, here with the weekly live stream for all the new comics that are out today. New Comic Book Day, October 9th, 2019. It is a day full of some amazing comics, but we're not going to talk about any of them because we're going to spend the next 30 minutes with Corbin Dallas and his one word a day, statement here talking about Powers of X. I mean, just half-hour Powers of X.
It's the only reason I'm here, and we all know it's the only reason you're here, let's be honest.
Yeah, we're not even going to... there weren't any other...
I don't even know what
comics.
DC is.
Yeah, Dark Horse,
Yeah.
But now, okay, we'll discuss the comics just for you guys. I'll kick him off screen, and then when we get to Powers, we'll bring Richard back for all sorts of fun and discussion. But that being said, before we dive into the new comics, I'm going to do my normal update of all the cool new signings and events coming up, because we got a few big ones. In just a week and a half, we're going to have Brian Haberlin in here signing his brand new comic, Marked. He also had a comic that came out today called Sonata that is absolutely brilliant, and I highly recommend you guys check out. Of course, he also worked on Spawn 300, and he has zero problem signing those amazing comics, as well as any of his other great comics that are out at that signing on Saturday at 2 p.m. We also have officially confirmed November 9th, a month from today, we will have David Booher in here signing Kanto. At the same time, I can confirm that Kanto will be back with a new one-shot and a new miniseries in 2020. It's going to be awesome. And then, of course, I believe it's November 19th, we will be having Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly out here to sign their new popular Rooster Teeth comic, Genlock, as that will get a new number one then. But there's another Rooster Teeth comic if you're a Rooster Teeth fan that is out today, so keep watching the live stream for that and more. So with that all said, and a bunch of great events ahead, let's dive into the new comics and graphic novels out this week. Starting with the graphic novels, we have Rick and Morty hardcover book 4. Yes, it's a book that talks and sings at you from the voices of the cast of Rick and Morty, as well as all sorts of fun stories like Pocket Like You Stole It, and other great Rick and Morty tales. The final part of Jim Starlin's Thanos Infinity trilogy, Infinity Ends, is out. We have Heroes in Crisis: The Price, the side story that has Batman and Flash trying to figure out who killed Wally West in Heroes in Crisis. This is an absolutely amazing story and has by far one of the most badass Batman and Flash moments, because Batman says something that he can never take back that may forever destroy his relationship with the Flash. We then have Power Rangers: The Psychopath, a brand new original graphic novel for Power Ranger fans by Paul Lohr. Moving on to the new comics this week, we're going to do Absolute Carnage Miles Morales, and my number one Absolute Carnage guy, who's going to have a little tiny blurb, is going to talk about that. Richard, go!
Real quick, that actually, Miles Morales number 3 is obviously the Absolute Carnage tie-in. Picks up after Absolute Carnage number 3, so make sure you read that first. Picks up right where we left off with Miles having just been taken over by a symbiote, as they all were actually trying to get it after JJJ, and Silver Sable is on hand trying to fight them all off. Now, if you did spec on the last issue about that new symbiote suit on Miles, he gets a new one in this one, so that was a one-issue suit. So that's pretty cool. This one's actually much cooler looking. But other than that, it's just a fun action adventure, just kind of segueing and keeping the story going while we wait for the Absolute Carnage to return.
And that was the final issue, I believe, of Miles Morales, Absolute Carnage?
This one is, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So grab that end cap.
Nearing the end.
That's an iconic cover right there. Why is that? It's the first appearance of Spider-Man. Yes, you now can own Amazing Fantasy 15, the very first appearance of Spider-Man by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko for the unbelievable low cost of $3.99. This iconic issue is reprinted in a facsimile edition, exactly as it is with the ads and everything, but you will never find this comic in as bright a color or nice a condition as you will on this awesome new facsimile variant. Batman starts the new giant-size DC books. For just $5, you get 100 pages of Batman stories, including some awesome new tales. Batman Universe gives you reprints from the Batman 100-page giants that Walmart's had, except now you can pick those up at your favorite local comic shop rather than that horrible place called Walmart. This also should have the first appearance of a popular new Young Justice member, Guinea Hex. Batman Ra's al Ghul hits the second part of its 6-issue miniseries by Neil Adams, written, drawn, and colored by the man. Warren Ellis is back with Brian Hitch, the team that brought you Authority, one of the greatest comics Wildstorm ever released, is back with Batman's Grave, and oh my god, it feels like Authority. From Drunken Alfred onward to an ever-intense detective thriller for Batman, using Warren Ellis's keynote of intense and advanced technology. Batman's Grave is a really fun one. It is not your traditional Batman story. Part 1 of 12. Battle Pug is back for its second issue as Mike Norton continues our favorite oversized pug and his Conan-like barbarous warrior fighting against the evil Russian-like dictator. Buffy and Angel fans will want to hop on for this brand new miniseries, Hellmouth. Tell me that cover isn't absolutely beautiful. All of the covers on this amazing comic are truly stunning. You're going to want to hop into Hellmouth now. Grab the really cool Jenny Frison Virgin variant right there as the Hellmouth finally opens in Sunnydale, or Sunnyvale. Sunnydale? Sunnydale. I got it. I'm a Buffy fan. I know this stuff. Catwoman hits its 16th issue today. Well, Coffin Bound hits issue number 3, Stacy's Pick of the Week. We have Collapser under Gerard Way's DC Young Animal, written by brother Mikey Way. Contagion deals with a virus turning people into weird zombie-like diseased monsters in the Marvel Universe. Ed Brisson continuing to kick butt. Another DC 100 pages for just $5. You can't go wrong with the villain story that has a great Harley Quinn and Joker original story in there. Also a new Deathstroke story, Deathstroke versus Jimmy Olsen. Really great deal. 100 pages, $5. You can't go wrong. Detective Comics hits its 1013th issue. Well, Doctor Doom gets a brand new ongoing series with a brilliant concept plot. I feel Christopher Cantwell's writing could use a little bit more of a poke, but Salvador Larroca's artwork makes up for it in an amazing concept where Doctor Doom is now blamed as being a massive terrorist that everyone in the world, not just superheroes, is after. When Doctor Doom, the ruler of his own country, is enemy number one, just how will the world respond? I have to grab this issue and find out. Event Leviathan hits its 5th of 6 issues. Yes, the penultimate issue is out now with a beautiful David Mack watercolor. Cannot wait to see where this goes. And here we might get the reveal of just who Leviathan is. If you want a reveal of who characters are, check out the secret origin of White Fox, one of the new characters from the Future Fight video games and the recent Agents of Atlas comic series that everyone is loving. A new great Asian superhero written by a bunch of creators I actually am not even going to try butchering their names on, but they are all awesome. This is a fun comic with some beautiful covers. I love that Sonic Takeda piece right there. Go-Go Power Rangers hits its 24th issue from the wonderful Cena Grace with a great Instagram variant cover. Gotham City Monsters hits issue 2 of its 6-issue miniseries, and we introduce a new villain, the Red Phantom. Gwenpool strikes back in its 3rd issue with a great Terry and Rachel Dodson cover. Obviously a wonderful She-Hulk joke. Harleen is back in stock. If you didn't grab this, now is your chance. These will probably be the last of the first printings available because I hear we're going to get a second printing soon. Make sure you grab this awesome Black Label book that deals with the origin of Harley Quinn. Speaking of Harley Quinn, why not grab Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, the great team-up book that Ken considers his absolute must-read pick of the week, with 2 great variants by the wonderful Warren Lowe. Absolutely stunning pieces right there. You're going to want to get all 3. House of Whispers hits its 14th issue this week. We, of course, have all 6 issues of House of X and some package deals if you buy all 6, so make sure you come and grab those. Ice Cream Man hits its... What issue of Ice Cream Man is this? Oh, it's 15th issue this week. Well, Immortal Hulk gets its 5th of the Director's Cut, reprinting, I believe, the 9th and 10th issue. Invaders number 10 is out this week, and we're going to have the great Richard Rebello talk about that.
Not much to say, just really great read. Chip Zdarsky, as always, Invaders, Namor, Captain America. This story actually picks up and continues the Dead in the Water series, or story arc. Captain America and Bucky are infiltrating Atlantis to try to get the Genus formula. And this ends in a place where are totally unexpected with a cool twist. Namor, as you haven't seen him before, stranded somewhere with Captain, and I can't wait to see what happens next with this story. Again, Chip Zdarsky just knocking it out of the park. Great read. It's not that far in, so if you want to pick it up, you can catch up real quick. And I'm going to hand it back off to Matthias, and he can continue on because we got some more great books to read. Matthias!
I'm on my way over there.
He's busy at the moment. Let's just jump to Powers, because I had actually read a lot of these books, and unfortunately, I apparently, for the first time in my life, am trendy, and everyone else bought everything, so they're not on the wall anymore. I can't talk about them. So I'll give it back to Matthias here.
I love doing that picture-in-picture moment. All right, moving on from Invaders, we hit a rather big one. The Joker, Year of the Villain, a one-shot written by the legendary John Carpenter. Yes, that John Carpenter, the great novelist and director and master of all things horror, along with Anthony Birch, the man who wrote the great Borderlands video games. This is a very unique Joker story. It is a very horrific and odd and twisted one-shot. And if you are one of those fans of Joker that has to have everything, you have to have this. Speaking of that, Joker and Harley, Criminal Sanity, new Black Label book out by Kami Garcia with Miko Suyan and Mike Mayhew doing interior artwork. It is absolutely stunning. There's a great cover by Francesco Mattina. The Mayhew cover is unbelievably beautiful, and all the interior pages look this good. It just is mind-blowing. And then we, of course, have that great Miko Suyan cover, who also is providing interior artwork. Now, let me preface this book. It is a pick of the week. It is not a Joker or Harley story. Don't let the title confuse you, but don't let that chase you away either. This is an amazing, violent story about serial killers and those hunting them. It gives you in-depth descriptions of actual real-life serial killers, and really feels like it was a Vertigo book that they just named characters Harley Quinn and Joker. But that being said, it is still an unbelievable book, well worth your time, an absolutely great read. But I want to give you the preface, it is not, by any means, a traditional Joker or Harley Quinn story. Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica. It's its 5th issue, as we also get near a new Vampironica sequel coming out. You're going to want to grab that. Beautiful David Mack cover. Livewire hits its 11th issue from the great guys at Valiant. Loki hits issue 4, where we're introduced to a new Thor with a new Mjolnir. And, of course, the greatest t-shirt ever. Don't forget the wonderful Jem Bartel Mary Jane variant. Marvel Comics number 1000 is back in stock, and the big reason I bring that up is we now have the New York Comic Con exclusive variant to add to the pool. Marvel Action's All Ages Spider-Man series that features Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker all going to high school together pits them up against the Black Cat in a new issue, issue number 9, as we get closer to the intro of Venom. Miles Morales has his actual ongoing series out with issue number 11 this week, as we continue on the crazy cliffhangers of issue 10. Oblivion Song hits its 20th issue. After last issue, there was some major twists that changed the story. Robert Kirkman is continuing to kick ass on this amazing book. Come grab issue number 20, because I can't say anything without spoiling it. Then we hit the one that Richard has been biting at the chomp to get to. Powers of 10 wraps up this week with issue number 6. Some absolutely amazing covers. I love the Zorn cover. Action figures, Scotty Young, so many amazing options. You're going to want to grab this. But let's talk Powers of 10.
Standing applause. I mean, Hickman pulled something off I've never seen done in comic books before. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to try like hell not to actually discuss any details in this. It definitely doesn't wrap up the story. It sets it up, and we're going to be taking off next week with the first X-Men issue. And then those next 6 books, all the powers, or the, what is it called?
The Dawn of X.
Dawn of X titles. Definitely you're going to need to, if you like this series, don't miss them. Don't, it's definitely where this is picking up and continuing.
Yeah. Let me cut that off actually really quickly because I'm gonna get. I know I've already gotten phone calls, and we're gonna get a lot of phone calls as people read this issue. For it to be clear, Dawn of X is not going to be a separate series. It is not going to be a single comic or anything like that. Dawn of X is the title of the 6 new X-Men books that are starting up. So if you like this and you want to continue this in Dawn of X, you want to grab X-Men #1, X-Force, Marauders, Excalibur, Fallen Angels, and New Mutants that will all be coming out each week over the next few weeks. It's going to be super exciting because, as he said, this series just blows up the setup for these books, and I cannot wait to read all 6 of them. All 6. I'm going deep. I mean,
I was blown away. There's something that happens in this that I just went, I don't know how the heck we didn't see that. Amazing. Hickman is a genius. Again, remember I said early on, it reminded me a lot of Dune. I see a lot more of Dune in this again. Not to say that he's borrowing from that, because he absolutely sets himself apart in this series. This is like, technically, I would call it like the crossover event or the tie-in arc event of the millennia, because this ties in everything that has ever happened in X-Men history. I mean, not just this book, the whole series. As you've been reading it, you know. He ties up all loose ends perfectly, puts in a nice little bow so we can move forward, sets up plenty of plot points that could potentially happen, leaves you guessing.
Has that intense twist at the end that I'm just waiting to figure out, because there's something more to the ending of this than they're hinting.
Puts in a brilliant escape clause for any time anything that, like, they ever decide that they don't like where things are going. I can't say any more. I don't want to spoil it. There's like 10 more books on the shelf. Get it. Come in quick. Don't wait for a reprint. Yeah. It's amazing.
We do have a few complete sets of powers as well. So once again, if you're missing all the powers, catch up on House of X and Powers 10. If you have ever been a fan of the Mutants or X-Men or anything at all, catch up on these books. We have complete sets available. We will do our best to keep these stocked as long as we can, but that may not be forever, because you need to read these. You need to jump into X-Men #1 next week. You need to read all of these amazing things. I can't wait for Marauders. This has me hyped on Marauders.
Yeah. Is there anything we can even potentially tease as a spoiler? I don't know.
Do you want to talk about the 6th?
That's enough. 6.
Yeah, the 6th is in this. All right, Powers. You don't want to miss Powers. Absolutely amazing book. Easily, I think it's unquestionably the pick of the week for me and Richard. Absolutely great stuff there. Moving on, we're going to go to Pretty Deadly, which I absolutely love. And once again, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Emma Rios doing an amazing job there. Reaver hits its 4th issue with Justin Jordan and Rebecca Isaacs, giving us a Suicide Squad in a D&D setting. Rise hits its 5th issue from Scout Comics. Ronin Island from Boom hits its 7th issue, giving us a very unique take on the Eastern Pacific. Once and Future, his issues 1 and 2 available. You're going to want to grab these. Issue 3 is on the way soon. Then we hit the big new Rooster Teeth comic, Ruby. The popular animated series is now being adapted by Marguerite Bennett and Mirka Andolfo. Actually, I shouldn't say adapted. We're getting additional stories with these great characters by them, with beautiful, beautiful Andolfo cover and an absolutely amazing Jim Lee variant. Shoplifters Will Be Liquidated is basically if you put Judge Dredd in charge of Amazon. It is a dark and hilarious tale of political commentary. Show's End is back with its #1 now in 2nd printing, if you missed this. Something is Killing Children is a comic that you know we love here, so we want to make sure you have it. We are fully stocked on this. Do not miss out. Sonata by the great Brian Haberlin, who will be here signing in just 10 days, is got its 5th issue out with 2 great covers. Spawn hits its iconic 301st issue, the history-making, history-breaking, or record-breaking issue, as this becomes now officially the longest-running creator-owned series. Thank you for that, Todd McFarlane. There's 17 amazing variants. I'm just going to show a few, like that great Matina cover, the Clayton Crane, Jason Alexander. I mean, there's J. Scott Campbell. There's Greg Capullo. So many amazing covers. Definitely want to pick this up. It is definitely going to set up a very interesting future for the character of Spawn. We have Star Wars Allegiance, also known as The Journey to Star Wars The Rise of the Skywalker. This is the prelude to the upcoming Star Wars movie, a popular selling book right now, with a great Marco Cicchetto cover and a wonderful movie cover. So make sure you hop on this to get yourself ready for the new movie coming out in just about 2 months. For the Halloween month, we continue our weekly return to Vader's Castle, the great horror tales for all ages of various Star Wars characters talking about nightmarish situations with Darth Vader and the evil that fills the Star Wars universe. Speaking of Vader, Star Wars Target Vader hits its 4th issue from the wonderful Kelly Thompson. Strange Skies over East Berlin, we've talked about before, and we want you all to read. It is an awesome, awesome comic from Boom, as Jeff Loveless gives us a paranormal or supernatural
paranormal
spy thriller in Berlin
alien.
during the Soviet War, possibly with aliens.
Don't sleep on that one.
Yeah, this one is unbelievable. You got to get that. The Superior AOC, yes, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, continues getting great parody comics. This one sets her up like a Spider-Gwen-like figure and has a wonderful cover. Has some previews for some amazing covers coming up. I'm actually really amused by this. Fun one, whether you're on either side of the aisle or you just don't care about politics at all. It's still a fun and funny book. Superman hits issue 16 as we return the Super Sons. Damien's first time interacting with Jonathan Kent now that he's a little bit older and they got a new outfit. Really fun issue right here as we deal with more Legion stuff. Great deceased variant there. Thought Bubble has its 2019 anthology issue. Thought Bubble is a great convention in Leeds in England, when they have many of their guests contribute to an awesome comic anthology each year. This one has a lot of big names from Brendan Fletcher, Gary Dugan, Jock, I think Tula Lotay did some stuff in this. It's amazing. You're definitely going to want to give it a read. Thumbs hits its 5th issue, I believe 5 of 6 this week. Well, Unearth hits issue number 4, both from Image. Usagi Yojimbo is just blowing off the shelf. I am stunned we're down to our last few copies on this amazing title by the great Stan Sakai. Issue 5 out today. Vampirella Red Sonja number 2 has some of the sexiest covers in comics this week with a few amazing pieces. I love that Tula Lotay. So you're going to want to come in and rush and grab those. Jordi Belair, the same girl who is bringing us the amazing Buffy the Vampire series in Hellmouth, is kicking butt on this book as well. Then we have Web of the Black Widow with a great Mary Jane cover, and then, of course, the amazing A cover. These are some awesome, awesome books dealing with the year 1 origin of Black Widow by Jody Houser. And then we wrap up with Wonder Twins, issue number 8 by Mark Russell this week. Those are the new comics of October 9th, 2019. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for tolerating Richard and his short, wordage right there. Like, that's all we get out of him. He's, not even here. But honestly, that being said, if you want, I think me and Richard have long spoke about this over the past, 12 weeks, that we really want to talk up House and Powers. So if you guys want to see us really break down House of X and Powers of 10 in a little bit, once you guys have all had a chance to read it, please leave a comment in the, or leave a message in the comments. Leave a comment in the comments.
Leave a comment in the comments, and in 10 minutes we'll go live to discuss it.
No, that'll probably be at a later date. But that being said, we seriously like to do it. So if you guys want to watch it, we'll be happy to share it with you. Otherwise, we'll just go to a bar and drink beers and do it by ourselves.
It'd be fun if you joined in, because if you're watching it live while we're discussing it, we can discuss it with you, which would be really cool. See what your thoughts and insight into it is. If you liked it, if you hated it, if you loved it, if you think we should burn down the building, I don't know, whatever.
It's one of those things. Obviously, you're either going to like it, you're going to love it, or we're going to burn down this building because you didn't read it. But yeah, House of X, Powers 10, absolutely amazing. Thank you guys all for watching. We hope to see you later this week. Obviously, next week when we do the live stream again with new comics. And then, of course, when Brian Haberlin's in here on the 19th, you're all going to want to be here. He is one of the most amazing guys in comics. You're going to want to meet him, get a sketch from him, get your book signed. He is awesome.
Very cool. And do yourself a favor. When you walk in, walk straight forward into that back room, straight ahead. Pick up some of those dollar books. This week, we didn't go over them, but there were some amazing stories that they reprinted for $1.
Betsy Braddock. Oh.
So, definitely check it out. A lot of cool stuff in there.
I will comment on one last one. $1 issue number 1 of Watchmen with the new HBO series coming up. You're going to need to read that comic if you haven't for some odd reason. And if you just don't own it, or even if you do own it, a $1 reprint. It's a great way to constantly reread, share it with other people. It's one of the best comics ever written.
Absolutely. Get your friends hooked on the comic books with $1.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice night.